This is not communication. It's communion. Hundreds of thousands of people have claimed contact. That will change you. It changed me.
Lost in between two worlds and two dreams.
This was something that I kept buried for years. Strange things would happen. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore.
He came at me, and I fought for my life.
Ships started to pop up in the sky.
And there's this bizarre disk of light. It is moving across the sky very fast.
The experience is often very terrifying.
If I felt fear, I would crawl under my covers, hoping that it would go away, whatever it was.
I know that we were put in that craft. I knew I was going to go to another planet.
And the being was right next to my face.
He saw two shadow beings. That's when I felt like I was going to die.
I had a real encounter with something. Even if I had to live with the fear, is to know the truth, is to know.
And it's a good day for me, Mr. B from Western Australia. How you going, everybody? Tonight I'm going to talk about vibrations and vibrations, how much it really does control our lives, which I think is absolutely fascinating. First, we'll start off with the human brain. Well, the human brain has beta waves, alpha waves, theta waves, and delta waves. And these waves controls our moods. Governments, theaters, well, movie makers, they use music. They use music to control the moods. With sound, it plays a very important part of our lives. It can set a mood. It can set romance. It can incite violence in some cases. And look, it's how can I put this? It's in every part of our life. Now, I was looking through some graphs the other day and it was showing different sounds the planets make, and they all resonate a frequency. And I couldn't get it up on the screen. I couldn't get them all up there to show. But they actually show patterns. These sounds show patterns. The Earth has its own pattern of sound. The Moon, every planet in our solar system has its own unique sound, like a fingerprint, believe it or not. And it made me think, have you ever watched a movie without music? It's like you got a war movie, you always got that boom, 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 boom kind of coming up, it gives you that excitement, ready for action. And then you've got the Western music, Western movies where they're riding a horse and you've got this giddy up type music. It's quite funny, really, when you think about it. But it's like when you watch Star Wars or some other movie, they've already got the music for the scene. Now, if you took that music away, it's just actors just saying words, and it's got no impact. The music actually gives it impact, and we don't really take notice. Do we actually listen to the music? No, we don't, but we do. We do subconsciously. We listen to it because we're trying to follow the narrative of the story with the talking, that we're listening to them, you know. But the music's always in the background, and it plays on and it plays on. And what that actually tells me is, like, have you ever heard people arguing? You know, you're in one place, you know, in a different room, and the people are, and you think, oh, you know, it's kind of makes you feel a bit in the stomach, you know. And then you hear people laughing, and you stick your head out and say what they're laughing about, you know, because it sets a mood, and you don't want to miss out, you know. Sound, big part of our lives, you know. And here we have SETI. They're sending out sound waves to the cosmos, you know, and we're receiving sound back from suns, from different galaxies, and that, all this hash noise and everything else. But I wonder, I've always thought to myself, you know, what kind of sounds are they listening for? I mean, we know there's a lot of activity going on out there, volcanic eruptions, you name it, you know, everything's happening out there, solar winds, but then I think to myself, well, if they can communicate with aliens, they wouldn't understand us, or we would not understand a word they're saying. So how could we really communicate with ET? Now, I gave this some time, and I thought about it, and I actually trying to communicate with language, or even mathematical. When scientists turn around and say mathematics is the universal language, well, to them it is, but to an alien it may not mean jack. You know, who knows how they calculate? I mean, they could have a different formula to what we have. So, thinking about all the people that had abductions, and they actually spoke to them telepathically. And myself, I was an experiencer, and I confronted a situation when I was 24 years of age. And this person spoke to me, never saw his lips move, but I heard every word in my head. So I put it down as they spoke to me telepathically. So therefore, I'm heading down sound waves. And people don't realize that brain waves are sound waves. They come in, for example, beta waves come in at 15 to 30 hertz. So that's a calculus. So, and then you got alpha waves. Now, before I start, let's get back to beta waves. Beta waves comes in at 15 to 30. It's awake being, normal and direct consciousness. In other words, you're awake. You know what you're doing. And alpha waves is relaxed, calm, meditation, and creative visualization. Right, that comes in at 9 to 14 hertz. Then you've got theta waves, which is 4 to 8 hertz. Deep relaxation, meditation, and problem solving. Now, they seem to know what all these waves are. And then you got delta waves here, deep dream sleeps. Okay. So we know what these waves are all about. Yeah, they work it out. They put all these electrodes on their heads, and they read these people what they had a dream state. They says, oh yeah, they're at delta waves, you know. And they got the frequency range between 1 and 3 hertz in delta waves. You know, so if every living creature has a consciousness, so I would assume that they all have certain brain waves. It makes no difference if it's a dog, a cat, or whatever. There's activity going. There's electronic, the communication, and all these little electrodes going crazy in the head. So therefore, now if SETI's out there looking for aliens, should we be looking for random beta waves, alpha waves, and delta waves, and you name it, rather than listening for communications such like radio or what do you call it, music or whatever? Because if we transmit alpha waves, it makes no difference. I mean, they could turn it. If somebody can pick up an alpha wave, they can say, well, we know a dog didn't send it, an animal didn't send it. Had to be intelligence to send the alpha waves out in a radio wave. Just a different way of looking at things, you know, just a frequency just to put out there. And we should be looking for alpha waves and, you know, and beta waves and you know. And it's, to me, it makes more sense, because if a being has a consciousness, it must. And how do they transmit what in deep space? If they're a spacefaring nation, you know, and they're off out there, and they say couple of light years away, if their technology, who knows? They're a couple of light years away. How do they communicate to home base? I mean, okay, they may use a different form of radio wave, but would they be communicating in alpha waves if they're telepathy beings, you know? So that's a very interesting concept. Makes me wonder. But getting back to waves, it's how it actually controls us every day. I mean, they use it in the every time, like, they have an election, you know, they always got these, you know, wind you up type music with drum beating and God knows what, you know. I mean, even soldiers in the old days, you know, as they go in a battle, they'd be beating the war drum, and of course the enemy would be freaking out because they know what's coming, you know. They know once the drum stopped, you know, that's it, man. It's all out. Sound, you know, it's very powerful thing, you know. It sets the mood. It's so what can one say about that? It is powerful. It is very powerful. And, you know, I personally, I like, you know, the world vibrates. That's what I honestly believe. The world vibrates. Now, people talk about crystal power and, you know, energy, you know, but going back decades, years ago, we used to think all these people believe in the power of the crystals were all crazy, you know, because they turned to vibrations and all that stuff. Well, that's not so silly, but let's face it, everything vibrates. I mean, if crystals are good for you, you know, well, we all should be feeling good because we're sitting on one big giant crystal, basically, aren't we? But sorry, I just find it quite amusing. But I mean, it's like trying to sell, people selling crystals to somebody. It's like trying to sell ice blocks to an Eskimo. When we're standing on a rock, you know. But they're a nice item to own. Very decorative when they're polished up, I suppose. I mean, I have no qualms in crystals, but what we used to think was crazy, you know, about crystals. I mean, you know, it's there's a lot more to it. When now we're talking about vibrations, the old digital watch, you know, it works around, you know, it's got a little quartz crystal in there, you know, a little bit of power to it. It vibrates, it keeps regular time. So it resonates. And it keeps good timing. But yeah, do we ever stop to think the things we say to each other in tone? You know, we should be more careful with our voices, how we speak to one another. You know, sometimes a kind, soft word is better than a kind, harsh word. You know, we say, you know, sometimes you've got to use tough love and all that stuff. But be honest. But I think it's always best to stay calm and cool. It's the sound that actually generates, takes more energy to scream than what it is to talk softly. But I can be guilty of talking loud. It can come across very strange to some people. No, I'm just a mouther. No, put all that aside. No, it's how our lives are governed by sound, you know, with everything we do, everything we see. I mean, you hear something drop, you know, the noise. Oh, people freak out with thunder, you know. But I love thunder. I like out and I love listening to it, you know. But how it affects different people, and sound is a mighty powerful thing. And this is what I'm getting. I know I'm talking around a bit around in riddles here, but it is very important to realize that it's if we meditate more, relax, and try to get our delta waves down to like close to a dream state, and maybe focus on something like like alpha waves, to relaxation, keep yourself calm, and actually, be nice to be able to buy a little device where you can actually just stick it on your head and not just pretend you're meditating, but work towards getting your alpha waves until the alpha wave shows, and you can actually tune yourself into an alpha wave for meditation, and that'll help you for your creativity and visualization on things as well, which is I think is very important. It's all right to kind of meditate, but it's got to be get something out of it that can be creative, be refreshed, vitalized, and I suppose that all comes in to a good healthy diet as well. I'm not a vegan, but then again, as I'm getting older, I'm going towards soft food. Give me baby food any day. I like the custard. I like the apple custard, quite honestly. So anyway, Mr. B, look, I just Mr. B's been naughty. I'm sorry about this, but I haven't had a show now for a couple of weeks, and I think one of the main reasons to it is that I've been doing a lot of other things on the side lately, and I just haven't been feeling very well. And I must apologise. I'm not putting a show out there as often as I like, but don't want to be waffling on all time about UFOs and Bigfoot. And I mean, I don't do for Bigfoot all that much, but I like people to put stuff on, get in there and start posting stuff, especially on Bigfoot. I like to learn about Bigfoot. I mean, actually, we've got a Bigfoot here in Australia too. They call it the Yowie. That's what the Aboriginals in Australia call them. Excuse me. Anyway, it's so then you got the abominable snowman in the over in where was it in the Indies or something like that place somewhere up there. Anyhow, so it's all over the world. So it's not just in America, and so I want to hear, and I also want to hear about ghosts and that. I remember a nice little ghost story. Just change the subject for a second. There was a little ghost story when I was a kid. My dad used to take us on this. He used to take us to work sometimes. He's high executive. He flies in and out on major construction sites around Australia. And he took us for a drive down the coast of New South Wales one time, and there's this place called Fisher's Bridge. And apparently back in 18-something, some guy went off the bridge with his buggy, and they found the horse and the buggy, but they never found his body or something. Apparently he was going from the local tavern. He was drunk, so shouldn't drink and drive. Eh? Anyway, even those days, I won't say drive, ride. Anyway, apparently, ever since that day, his ghost appears on the bridge. It's a nice ghost story. I remember going down there, and my dad was telling me the story, and he said, "Hey, we're going to go across that bridge very shortly." Anyway, as we went across the bridge, I looked at the back car, and I swear I saw a boat going like that at me. No, I said, "Hey, Dad, that's all Fisher's ghost." Oh, my dad just laughed his head off. I don't know if you believe me or not, but I did see something. It was actually amazing, really funny. But I just want to be a bit more lighthearted tonight, because the last couple of shows I've had, I think I was a bit too serious about certain things. But there's a lot of serious things happening in the world. But my love of what I like doing, I like talking about UFOs. I believe in UFOs. I've seen a few UFOs in my days. There's only so much I can talk about at the moment, because something's happening in the wind privately on the side about UFOs I can't talk about. But I am an experiencer, and when I was 7 years of age, I was coming home with my mother from a CYO meeting called a Catholic Youth Organization. I was at the age of 7. My mother used to do voluntary work in the little tuck shop they had for the kids, where they learned ballroom dancing and stuff like that. And on the way home with my mother, and it would have been about we used to go to about 9 o'clock in the evening. So this would have been about 10 past 9. We used to get home by about 20 past 9 because it's only a brief walk away. And to our right, to our left, there was a park, and on the corner there where we stood, Mum looked up and she said, "Am I seeing 2 moons up there, son?" And I looked up and said, "Yeah, Mum, I see 2 moons," blah, blah, blah. And as I was saying that, my 2 brothers were running up behind us. I said, "Hey, guys, I see 2 moons. Mum saw 2 moons." They looked up and said, "Nothing there." And Mum looked up and said, "Oh, it must be our imagination." Anyway, never thought anything about it. We went home. And my dad, as soon as we got into the house, my father said, "Where you guys been?" "Why? It's about," he said, "about 10 to 10. Usually home, but by about 20 past, 20 or 25 past, 10 to 10. Didn't know where the time went. We just dismissed it. So we got carried away talking about it too much, on the corner. Anyway, then we turned on the radio. We had this radiogram. We didn't have a TV in 1957. Camera shop had one, a black and white one, but in the window. Everybody's standing outside the cameras looking at that. Anyway, so we turned on the radiogram. Beautiful, rich valve sound to it, Anyway, this 2GB, I think it was, Sydney radio station. A UFO seen over Sydney, da-da-da-da-da. Mum says, "Oh, we must have seen something." Great, okay. All right, well, that was exciting. So we went to bed. And in the middle of the night, the same night, woke up about, I don't know. It was in the early hours of the morning. It was dark, that was for sure. And I heard a noise in the bedroom. And I looked up and I see this white, this fluorescent person. And so if I'm looking ahead, the door was on my left, and my brother was sharing a bed next to my bed. He had his own bed on the other side, opposite side of the room. And of course, I saw this little fluorescent being walk across and turn to my right, and he stood over my brother, and he looking down at my brother, and then he turned around and came towards me. Now, this person or this creature or whatever it was had no eyes. I couldn't see no eyes, no mouth, no nose, no ears. It was just a white silhouette of a person, fluorescent, illuminating. And the thing was, as it came towards me, I screamed. And of course, within seconds, my mum and dad was, boom, in the room. They were totally there. "What's up? What's up?" And I said, "I just saw a ghost." That's what I honestly thought. And they said, "Oh, it's your imagination." Well, what it did? And I said, "It went from the door and it walked across the room. It went and stood over Paul's bed, and then it walked towards me." And they said to me, "It's your imagination, one. There's a white shirt, your brother's white school shirt is hanging up behind the door. And your eyes are playing tricks on you in the dark, And my father said, "Now go back to sleep, son. Be a young man, tough it up, ex-Royal Marine Commando. I mean, he had a heart of gold, but he was a tough bugger. I tell you that now." Anyway, so off I went back to sleep. Never did talk about it again, but it came again 6 months later. Stood over my bed, looking down at me. And I stuck my head under the blanket. It didn't go away. And then about 5 minutes later, my eldest brother in another room screamed. And parents ran in there. "What's up?" There was an ugly man standing over me, looking at my face, And they said they checked around the house and everything. There was nobody there. But I knew what he saw, but I dare not say it because my dad just didn't like me talking about stuff like that. Anyway, so this happened about every 6 months. I had this visitation till I was about the age of 13. Just come, look at me, and I fell back to sleep. I didn't really feel scared. I mean, did at first, but after a couple of years of it, and it's just like it'll go away. It'll go away. I thought it's my imagination, me having a bad dream. I was getting this about every 6 months too. Now at the age of 13, I actually woke up in a more like a sitting up position, and there's somebody playing with my leg, and it was right on the side of my hip, down on top of my thigh. And I'm looking down, and I see this luminous hand pulling out this like a straw, something about yay length, and I wouldn't say about the same thickness as well, believe it or not. And it just pulled it out of my leg. I'm not sure if he pulled it out or put it in, but I think he pulled it out. And then my leg was open, no blood, and I fell back to sleep. Then I woke up and I looked at my leg. There's nothing there. I thought, oh, okay, that was a bad dream. Must have been a dream. Must have been a dream. Well, that dream, for years I thought that was a dream. I would say about 3 years ago. See, I'm an old man now, 72 years of age. Get my math right. Anyway, having a shower, and I'm washing down, because as you get older, you lose a lot of oils in your skin. Your skin gets old and everything. And I'm I said, I could see a scar there. And I said to my wife, hey, can you see a scar on my leg, sweetie? And she said, yeah, you could, very faint. Now, this scar is now showing up, and it's about 3 inches, maybe 3 inches long. Very faint, but it's definitely there. I will take a photograph of it and post it sometime online. Let you guys see it for yourself. But yes, a very faint scar. I don't know why it didn't show up when I was younger, but probably less oil in the skin changing, whatever. Anyway, that was at the age of 13. Then about all years go by. And then along came my 24th birthday on the 21st of June. Hint, hint. No, 21st of June. And 3 days later, and this is how I remember the date. It was 3 days later. It was on the 24th of June in the early hours of the morning. Went to bed like any other normal night. And I just laid there and I fell asleep. And sometimes you get that tripping sensation. You wake yourself up. Well, I had that tripping sensation, but I didn't wake up. And I didn't fall down. I ascended. I just went up. Everything was bright. There was no vortex or tunnel or light or anything. It's just everything around me was just light white, just bright as, very blinding actually. And then I found myself inside a large room. And in this room, I was escorted down this long hall and had somebody either side of me. I could not move my body. I wasn't even walking. I was like floating down this long hall. And I can move my eyes, and I can look left and right, and I can see through my peripheral vision sides, And as I'm going down, I could see that I had somebody either side of me, and they were short. I would say they're about 5 foot, about 4.5 to 5 foot, and they're kind of pressing up against me, like keeping me in line and to this table that was at the end. But as I'm going towards it, I saw about six columns on either side. They looked like marble, brown marble, and they really round at the base. And then as they went up, it kind of came in like a curve, and they went thinner as they came up. And by each of these columns, there was these little people with their hands on it like that, with their hands on the column. And yes, they were actually wearing robes with hoodies, believe it or not. That's how it was. I couldn't see any, what they look. How I could visualize it, it was like looking at Ewoks out of Star Wars, believe it or not. It was just strange. But anyway, back to the story, my experience I'll rephrase that. They led me to this table, which was golden color, like a yellow, goldy, orangey type marble table with a gilt edge around it, with like a grapevine with hieroglyphs on between the grapes at the vine up and down. Imagine the grapevine going like a snake with those hieroglyphs opposites like that. And this man at the table dressed in a white suit, Chinese collar, typical what you actually see on the internet. No seams to any of his clothing. No seams on the shoulder, no seams around the collar. Look, I can remember this so clearly, like it only happened about an hour ago. I can honestly say it's just like this. That's how vivid it is in my mind. And this happened in 1974. This person spoke to me. I'll describe him. He had long blonde hair, beautiful blue eyes, and I mean really attractive blue eyes. And his skin looked like translucent slightly, with a sheen like a mother of pearl. It's very angelic looking. And he said to me, "Terry, can you show me what you've done with your life?" I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel bad or anything. Actually, the whole experience, but the whole experience was really calm. It's quite nice, really. Very nice, very peaceful, and very serene, but I did not answer. I said, and he says, "Now, Terry, can you show me what you've done with your life?" The second time. Again, didn't answer, didn't feel judged. He says, "Let me show you." And all of a sudden, from this position, looking down on, I could see myself as a child playing cricket in the street. And anyway, and then there was a lot more to it, but I can't remember that. But it kind of happened within a split second. And I'm back in front of this man. He said, "Now can you show me what you've done with your life?" I did not answer. Did not answer, do anything. But unfortunately, he said to me, "Look, you're going to come across crossroads in your life." And he said, "When you do, you're going to get answers. You've got a choice. You've got to make a decision. You will know, you'll understand, but you've got to do something about it." It made no sense to me whatsoever. Anyway, and he says, "Let me ask you this. This is the closest thing you'll ever get to death. How do you feel?" And all of a sudden, when he said that, I went, bang! It's like somebody punched me in the freaking chest, and I woke up, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and I'm, grabbing my breath, profusely sweating, and I'm freezing cold. My partner that was with me at the time started screaming. She says, "I was watching you. I was watching you." I don't know if what she told me was true or not. I'm only going by what she told me from that part of the story, right? So please bear with me. She said, "I was watching you. I could not move. But I could see you were floating above the bed, glowing. You are possessed. You are possessed." And she took off and ran home to mother. Never did see her again. I maybe saw her at the shops when she'd turn around and walk the other way. Scared. She walked away scared. Now, as I said, this experience was very pleasant to me. Very pleasant. And, but unfortunately, my body didn't take it. Within 24 hours, I started having anxiety and panic attacks. And it's not nice, really not nice. I go into supermarket, got the shopping trolley, everything's fine and rosy. Fill up the trolley with all my groceries, and all of a sudden I get into a panic attack. And oh my God. So off I go. I leave the trolley full, run straight out the shop, straight home, strip off my clothes and lay on the bathroom tile floor because I was sweating so much. My heart felt like it was coming out of me bloody chest. And I'm sweating and I feel panic. Now this was really I've never experienced. I was at that age at 25, I was a very fit bloke. I had 6-pack, mate. I was in top physical condition. I was very, very much into sports. And so I thought, oh no, I'll go and see a doctor. And I went and saw a doctor. And at the time I was living in the UK. I've lived in the United Kingdom since 1965 to 1975. My father went home to England to look after his mother in her twilight years, and he took the whole family back there. His father died in 1964. I was living in this experience that abduction happened in a place called Cleveleys, north of England, just outside Blackpool in England. Now, for years, I honestly believed I had a near-death experience. I get back to the story. I went and saw a doctor about my anxiety. I'm getting all mixed up here. So I went to see a doctor. I remember he's on the corner of Fleetwood Road and Alexander Street. And I walked in and saw a doctor, and I said, "Hey, doc, I'm having palpitations." And he took me back. He said, "Oh, it's slightly elevated, your blood pressure, and blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Oh, sounds like you're having really chronic anxiety." He said, "What's happened to you lately? Did anything dramatic happen?" I said, "No, not really." "You sure?" I said, "Well, I had this bloody funny dream the other day, dream like a near-death experience, and blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't scary." He said, "Oh, get out of my office." He said, "This is the second time I've heard this week, blah, 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 blah. I don't like having people coming in wasting my time." I went, that was strange. Why would you act like that? I mean, I'm only, So I went and saw another doctor and said, "I'm feeling like this." Because I think the other doctor thought I was just after drugs or something. I have no idea, but I've got no reason why. But yes, he did seem to get a bit offended. But I went and saw another doctor at a different clinic. And he says, "Anything happened to you?" No, I just totally ignored it. And I said, "No, not really. I just having these." He says, "Sounds like you're having anxiety attacks, panic attacks." He says, "Quite common, blah, blah. Yeah, take some Valium pills, So he gave me these Valium pills. 6 months later, I threw those Valium pills away before I hopped on the plane to come back to Australia. And I might have smoked a bit of weed here and there before then as a relaxation, but in my younger days, my young silly days. But again, for years, I believe I had a near-death experience, and that's the truth of it all. That's what it sounded like to me. First time I actually told a friend, I was over in Sydney, and he said, "Oh, I got a book on that." Oh, and then he got out a book and said, "Read that." And I read it. Did not resonate with me. I mean, these people said they went into the light, now hearing these voices, and that wasn't mine. I actually, everything was visualized. I mean, I could see people, and see things, and I saw the person I actually spoke to. But still, I believed I had a near-death experience for years. Anyway, it all came about later on as the internet evolved and people start putting up these stories about their abduction and describing what there's nothing. It's like something which it started resonating with me. It started, I think, man, that's. So I started communicating with a few people, and I said, "Did you ever see it?" But, "Oh, you had long blonde hair, blah, blah, blah." Because those days we had bulletin boards. We didn't have MSN Messenger and all that stuff. We still started off with bulletin boards in the days of the 286, 386 computers. Very slow but very difficult, but in a dial-up modem. And then I thought, okay, but as the internet progressed and the information became more available, well, it was a revelation for me. I mean, all of a sudden I could see that, yeah, I was abducted, all right. And it's, but the strange thing about it is, the part of that abduction was I was only allowed to remember so much. I know in my heart that I was showing a hell of a lot within that split second. And I am going to get myself go to hypnotherapy and have regression done. I might do that very soon. But there's a lot of questions. Oh, I don't know. It's like you wouldn't understand if you never experienced this. You would never understand it. It's like, why? What's it all about? Look, I'm an old man now. I mean, what purpose has it suited them? For me, I'm on my last legs. You know, I mean, why me? And yes, I have hit that crossroads, and I am aware. What is it all for? But as I found, as I was heading towards retirement, I took late retirement. I needed to fill in my time, and all of a sudden, people coming out of the woodwork I never thought I'd ever meet, especially within this industry, podcast. And it's like it's predestined. And I'm like my pawn. I'm like a pawn. I've been placed in my spot, and all the others are moving around me, and it's like I'm meeting people that resonate with me, you know, and talk about. And I honestly believe since that experience, I've also started picking up other vibes and other things. Like I'll look at a telephone a few seconds before it actually rings. No, I'm not psychic, you know. Definitely. I knew 24 hours before my mother passed away. I knew something was wrong. I didn't know it was her. I rang around every family member, something's wrong, something wrong. And the day my mother passed away, she was laughing and talking 30 seconds before she passed away. And she felt tired, and I made her comfortable. Within 10, 15 seconds after she closed her eyes, I just told my brother, go and get the nurse. And she said, why? I said, get the nurse. She's only sleeping. Jenny just shut her eyes. I said, can't get the nurse. I knew she passed away. I felt her energy go. And the second time I was working in a mining town called Kalgoorlie. I had this great urge to get back to Perth. My father ended up going into a nursing home, and I just wanted to be there for my father. I arrived back 2 weeks before he passed. The last day I went in, I spoke to the nurse, said, let me know when my father passes. Please call me anytime, day or night. She looked at me strangely. I got a call that night. Early hours at 1 o'clock. I knew. Even the nurse turned around and said, you knew. I said, yeah. I'm not psychic, but a bit of an empath there. I read people very well. You know, it's how we go through life. You know, I mean, it's not easy sharing all this stuff with you guys, you know. I started off talking about sound waves and sound and everything resonates. Well, it does resonate. It resonates here. It resonates there. It resonates in everything you see. You know, our actions speak louder than words. And sometimes our words can cut deeper than the actions. bruises go away. Words can cut deep. So Mr. B always says, be kind to each other. And we all got to learn to aspire to inspire each other. Turn on some happy music, turn on some romance, have a dance naked around the lounge room if you want with your missus. Who cares? You know, just, you know, have fun, guys. You know, look, I just wanted to share. Look, I may not be broadcasting a lot of shows regularly, like a lot do, but I want to be more heartfelt when I do. Have something to talk about that's worth talking about, well, to me. And I still don't see any viewers on my chat. Why? I do not know why. For some reason, I'm in YouTube up here. That's all they allow me to give me chat. And there's no one in my YouTube chat. None whatsoever. So I don't know why. I have no clue why there's no chat in there. But never mind. I'm sure there are people watching. And I've heard my phone going ding, 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 ding. So I'm gathering somebody's trying to tell me that, why aren't you responding to us? Well, I've got another computer on here, but nothing's on the screen popping up, unfortunately. So I'll have to look into these technical errors and problems. And anyway, I hope I'm not too miserable tonight, guys. I've actually got my teeth in tonight, so I'm smiling. Anyway, I was going to ask my good friend Doc if he wanted to come on the show with me tonight, but he wouldn't answer his messages. He must be very busy. So, because, do you know what? We all got to watch what we say on YouTube, you know? And I tell you something, I really don't like the way these platforms are trying to govern what you say, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. We're all adults here, and I mean, as long as we're not bad mouthing anybody or, you know, or cursing anybody. I mean, what we want to say the Earth's flat, or which is not. But if we want to criticize about COVID injections or COVID-19, or we want to criticize, I think it's about open discussion. It's not about calling it fact. You know, I mean, they've got to give people the credit that they've got a certain amount of intelligence. When we don't need babysitting as adults, you know, and we should be able to speak about anything we want. It's not vindictive about any particular person or attack on any individual. I mean, I should have the right to turn around and say, look, I don't like the government that's running Australia at the moment. Hey, I don't. You know, bunch of pussies as far as I'm concerned. And also, too, I think the politics in America at the moment sucks. It really sucks. Hey, but that's just my point of view. Hey, I can take criticism, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't like them picking on their government. Oh, well, yeah, that's a shame, you know, because there's a thing called constructive criticism too, you know. I mean, it's an opinion. How can you debate something if you can't speak up? You know, you don't have to run. See, I can talk to somebody that doesn't agree with me. That's fine. I'm not going to punch him out and call him a silly ass or anything. I'll just say, well, that's fair enough. That's your opinion. That's fine. Don't have to get nasty about it. You know, I mean, hey, I'm not going to go to sleep worrying about the government that's governing me. I'm not going to worry about it because they're a bunch of assholes anyhow. I mean, who cares? You know, there's going to be the thing is, they all got sponsors, and these sponsors, they want their pay. They want their pound of flesh. You know, remember, you go to a bank, get $1,000 loan. You got to sign these documents. You got to sign those documents, and everything else. Miss a payment, you're in trouble. But the same organizations will give millions of dollars donation to a political party. Now, remember, if you're paying out millions of dollars to a political party, they're going to want something back in return. Yeah? So should politicians wear a shirt that's who's sponsoring them? Because if you did that in the stock market, they'll have you up for inside trading. A different set of rules there. They'll have you up for inside trading. So think about it. Who's really running America? Who's really running Australia? Who's really running anything these days? You know? Where is the integrity of people? Honest integrity. Maybe politicians around the world should not be able to take sponsorship, donations. It should be all paid by the taxpayers, equal time on air, equal cost for everything. Yeah. Outside influences should have no interference in politics. And that's just my little soapbox there. So, but just let me see. I wonder if Doc's online anywhere. Because if he's here, I wouldn't mind getting him on for a chat. But let me see. Let me have a look. Excuse me for a moment while I ponder. I keep hearing my little phone. Normally I would turn my phone off, but unfortunately, excuse me for a moment. Normally I turn my phone off while I'm on here, and who's trying to contact? Yeah. My friend. Well, it's good to see you getting your rest, Doc. I would have loved to have you on the show. You know, I'm stretching out the 54 minutes so far. Do you want to come on? Send me a message if you do. I'll invite you. We can have a really good bitch together, mate. Anyway, but it's all about fun. You know, it is about fun. Listen, you know, I've been so serious lately, and it's nice to have a bit of a smile and a bit of a tickle, you know. And look, like and subscribe, you know. I mean, I'm not getting paid for this, you know. I'm just not, you know. But if you want to hear me waffle on again sometimes, well, at least if you subscribe, you'll hear from me again, won't you? Anyway, never mind. You never know. I might be back on in 10 minutes' time. So after this show, who knows? Depends how I feel, you know. But listen, I have an email address, and why don't you guys go to my Truth Seeker page? Well, I'll see if I can type it in up here, and I'll get it to you guys. Let me have a look here. Create. Yeah, let's see. We go. That's all I see. And what I do is I type in. I'll just give you the email. I want you to send me your stories. I want your stories. And if you want to be on my show, let me know. Okay. Excuse me for a second. I'm just here we go. Now, yeah, there it is there. Send me an email. Look, any email address, look, don't worry. It's all confidential. I don't pass out emails or whatever. I'll just respond to you. It's all confidential. If you want to tell me a story, I could bring it up. If you want to keep your name miscellaneous, that's also fine with me. But I'd like to hear your story. I shared your mine, and I'd like to hear yours. And you know, there's no end to this, because the way things are going, there's something big's going to happen very soon, and I know it. And look, I don't know, but what I'm saying, I feel it. And I mean, you're saying I feel it in my bones, and yes, well, it's there, it's happening. They call it the Great Awakening, and that Great Awakening, what the hell it's going to be, I do not know. But beware of some people. The stories you hear on the internet, there's a lot of bullshit out there, guys. I'm hearing a lot. Look, I believe there is a secret space program. I believe that 100%. I believe it. But sometimes some storytellers come in, and these same storytellers have got a show they got to do each so often, and they're pressured by their network to do it. And so they've got whistleblowers left and right. They've got a whistleblower here and they've got a whistleblower there. Do you know the realities of whistleblowers? If they're giving out confidential secrets, these whistleblowers, the government will look at that as a massive big security leak. And you guarantee that they would put out a court order signed by a judge and be handed to that person to give up their whistleblower. And if that person goes against the court order, that person then would go to jail for contempt of court. Now, that's the fact. Why aren't these whistleblowers, these people talking about these whistleblowers, why isn't nobody give them a court, what they call a court order? Because the stories are not true. There's no secret whistleblower. They're all a fragment of their imagination. Always got stories to tell. And this 20 away and 20 back, well, that's debatable. Because if that was true, especially with age generation, be able to heal a wound and sickness, whatever. Imagine if that was real. Well, we're actually saying that our governments are committing massive genocide. Let's look at it in a different perspective. Mass genocide. If they can cure cancer, why are they letting these people die? If they can cure diseases, why are they letting these people die? Why they can cure a fracture within moments, why are they letting these people die? And if they have the ability to make people younger, why don't they? I mean, we would love to live forever, but then again, can you imagine the world population as well? Yeah, I suppose you've got to make way with the old and in with the new, I suppose, I suppose the planet can only sustain so much life. Excuse me. But, yeah, so be careful what you listen to, guys. Sometimes some of these stories sound wonderful and they make fabulous movies. But before I go, I want to play a little something. There's Jean-Charles Moyen put out a new movie, and there's a nice excuse me, there's a nice little I don't know where it's done it. Where is it? No, I haven't got him here at the moment. Let's see. Here we Well, how about that? That's going to be a good one to watch. It's just as good as Alien Abduction, I reckon, by John Yost. That's an excellent. I've seen that. That's an excellent doco, guys. Get out. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know what other networks it's with at the moment, but hey, gotta watch Alien Abduction Answers by John Yost. It's fantastic. It's Rhino Industries that actually created the actual movie. It's great. I've seen it. Hey, he's going to have a sequel coming to it very soon. So, by all means, get out, watch it, and enjoy it. It's a must see, and I can't wait to see Starseeds. That sounds like it's going to be a good one. So that's definitely. Anyway, this is Mr. B, and just remember, be nice, be kind, lift each other up, as my friend Doc would say, and aspire to inspire one another. Just be nice to each other. I'm gone. Have a great, great day. Bye-bye now.